What's happening, my friends? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miss Katz, hashtag JBT. Al Booger, what's up, AB? Mike Magic. Salute, Mike. Just Do Boxing, the voice. What's up, Just Do? Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Box Storia. Today, the life and career of Archie Moore. The mongoose / old mongoose. I don't have the title of the show up there either. But you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 o'clock, it's the Box Story. And that's me, your friendly neighborhood box story, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. And that's why we love it and can't get enough of it. It's Friday. The weekend is upon us. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Appreciate the information you sent me, Bruce Gas. Always very helpful. Thank you so much. But salute Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more in the building. It's Friday. The weekend is upon us. Got a big one tomorrow. Deontay Wilder against Zilly Zhang. I'm not feeling too good about this. My heart is with Wilder, but man, I don't know. Kind of looks like he don't want to box anymore or something. I don't know. He's still in there. The man don't need money or nothing, so I don't know. Maybe he'll wake up tomorrow when the fight starts. But, you know, right now it just looks like he's just like before the Parker fight. But we'll see because it's tomorrow. I guess the weigh-in is today, right? NBA playoffs last night. Dallas closed them out. You know, they didn't want to give Minnesota any kind of life because if Minnesota could have got that game last night at home and stole Game 6 in Dallas, Game 7 would have been in Minnesota. But if Dallas versus Boston in the finals, Boston will have the home court. Oh man, I don't even know when to start. But how's everybody doing this Friday afternoon? Ready for the weekend? It's upon us. I guess we've got a card from over in the UK. There's always a card over there. I don't know. I know we got the big one tomorrow. Wilder and Zhang. And the big one today, the life and career of Archie Moore. Mongoose, old Mongoose. Like Al Booker said, that old Mongoose. I mean, the man fought so long, you know, they start calling them the old Mongoose. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He is went for the heavyweight championship a couple times. He didn't get that one. But he was light heavyweight champion. Longest tenured light heavyweight. He holds the record as light heavyweight for the most anybody ever was light heavyweight champion. I think it was like 10 years. Game 1 for the NBA Finals is next Thursday. Wow, why do they wait so long? An entire week at Boston. Yeah, Boston has the home court for this one. Yep. Yeah, next week I'm going to do we're going to find out the youngest and the oldest ever champions for each weight division. The youngest and the oldest. Like for heavyweight, for instance, Mike Tyson is the youngest ever heavyweight champion at 20. And George Foreman is the oldest, right? What was George? 44, 45. And we're going to find that out for each division next week. And then we're going to talk a little about the champion. Like light heavyweight is B-Hop. Remember, B-Hop is the oldest man to win a world championship. And he did that at light heavyweight. I don't know who the youngest at light heavyweight is, but I will know by next week. And all the way down from heavyweight all the way to strawweight, which is 105. And some of the youngest or oldest might be women. We're going to do the youngest and oldest, whoever it is. Okay, all the way through. That's next week. I'm excited about this show. I thought I would let you know. There's Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. What's up, RP? How are you today, bro? Good to see you again. It's Friday. Beautiful weather outside. Big boxing card tomorrow. Man, life is good. We got 2 big ones next weekend, remember? AB is on a Friday. And it's Xander Zayas and Patrick Teixeira on Saturday. I'm excited about that fight. We're talking about all these fights. I don't hear too many people talking about that one. That might be the best one. Could be fight of the year. It's Zayas' first main event and a huge step up for him. Okay, big step up for Zayas. Definitely his toughest opponent to date. That would tell us a lot about the young man, that fight will. And it's next week. And you know, in 2 weeks, Tank Davis versus Frank Martin back in there on from I think it's Vegas. They tried to get it in Texas, right? But it didn't pan out. So they went to Vegas. Yeah. The fight town. And then, you know, the Saudis' first card in the United States is August 3rd, Bud and Madrigal. What is 40-0? Think he can run Floyd's record down to 50-0? Floyd would be hurt. You know how Floyd is. Floyd, if Bud get to 51-0, Floyd will definitely be hurt. You know, because he is Floyd made money off of that 50-0. He had to come back for 2 more fights to try to get 52-0. But you don't know how far Bud is gonna go. You know. So yeah, Floyd will be hurt. Somebody take that record from him. Can't take the O, but you can take that 50. I don't know if Bud's gonna fight that long though. I don't know. 10 more fights. That would have to be 11 more. And the way they fight nowadays, 11 more fights. That might take him 11 more years. At least 7 or 8 the way they fight nowadays. He would be in his 40s, so I don't see Bud threatening that 50, no way. Back in the old days when they fought 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year, yeah, maybe. But now, But that would, like I said, it would take Bud at least 8 or 9 years to get 11 more fights. He had 2 last year, remember? So say 2 fights a year, take him about 5 or 6 years. And he ain't no spring chicken, right? So nah, the 50-0 is safe, Floyd. Floyd knows it. It's safe. Oh, Ray in the Wilder fight. I'm kind of leaning towards Zhang right now, Ray. Really am. Wilder just, like the mental ain't there, you know? How he was before the Parker fight, and he just seemed like he got that same mentality. And you saw how he fought, you know? I'm leaning Zhang. Oh, man. You know, Fury got Wilder out of there, remember? I'm leaning Zhang stoppage. Right, about 7 or 8. Yeah. I hate to say that, man, but I keep it 100. But everybody ready for it. Got anything big planned for the weekend? I don't. What time does their record start? About 2 o'clock, something like that? Because I know they usually start about 2. The main event normally around 6, 6-ish, something like that. So I guess about 2, the main event will start. Yeah, I mean not the main event, the card will start. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it right quick too. I think Bivol and Zenard is still in the co-mains. I don't know why they didn't move the other championship fight, Nick Ball and Raymond Ford into the co-main, because this is a championship, and Bivol and Zenard isn't even a co-main event. That's just a fight. But at least they took them out of the main. Fortunately, they had Wilder and Zhang already on there. Okay, Bruce Gass says he's going live at 1:30 tomorrow and doing the whole card. Okay, I will be over there for that. Yeah, that's fun. Watching the Bruce Gass fight calls. You hear the jazz playing in the background. And called the fight pretty good too. Yeah. I was over with Bruce Gass for the Day of Reckoning card. Yeah, had fun. I was there the whole time too. So about 1:30. Okay. Yeah. Who did you think, Ray? I got Zhang right now. So I'm gonna have to look at the way all that way. You know, I take all of that into consideration. I'm gonna have to look at the weigh-in. That could sway me. You know, all that. That's why I don't like those weigh-ins. What they call them, where they do it before, and we just see like the ceremony. I don't like those because all that figures into it, man. You know. You want to see whether he did it on his first time, because they had those ceremonials. They might not even tell you how many times it took him to hit the weight, you know. So we don't know that. And people betting, it's not fair. People, you know, the bets depend on all that stuff, man. It's not fair. They want you to bet and all these things and watch these fights, but then they want to give you these ceremonial weigh-ins. Devin Haney. But yeah. I'm gonna look at the weigh-in and everything, but right now it's Zane for me. And I like Nick Ball over Raymond Ford too. Yeah. Raymond Ford had to come back in his last fight and pull it out, remember? And he did. You know, he bit down, showed some heart, but can't keep doing that, man. And Nick Ball is gonna bring that pressure. It's a pressure bust pipes. So I'm thinking, I got Nick Ball walking out of there with that belt. What is that, featherweight tomorrow? Yeah. Sorry, Ray. My heart's with Ray again, but you know, I gotta call it like I see it. And of course, Bivol. Yeah. But who knows? I don't even know what style fighter Zenard is. He might come in there and surprise everybody, you know? I don't know what. I know he's from Libya. I've never seen anybody from Libya fight before, so I have no hint what style he fights or whatever, whether he's a knockout artist or a boxer, pressure fighter, puncher, slugger. I don't know. Outboxer, you know, like we went over Tuesday. I don't know what. You have any idea what Zenard is? First time I heard of him. Aunt McQueen told me he was from Libya. Yeah. But yeah, that's tomorrow too. But the big one is Zilli Zhang and Deontay Wilder. Coming right up. This time it's flying by. I remember months ago when they were just making this fight, we were talking about how good it's going to be, and now it's tomorrow. It's crazy. Before you know it, that we'll be watching that August 3rd call. Now that's what I'm looking forward to. Virgil and Tim Tszyu. Virgil is a big question mark because, you know, he had that sickness and he's only had like 2 rounds and not even a complete 2 rounds. He had two early first round stoppages, you know? It wasn't like he was like 2 into the 3rd minute of the round or anything. It was like in the 1st minute of the round, both of them. That other one, man, looked like they came out and he walked across the ring and hit the guy in the liver. And it was over, remember, his last fight? And then the other one, Tony, they were saying something about the guy had an aneurysm. We didn't know at the time, and Tony said Virgil hit him a couple times and came close again. Tony said, that's it, over. Y'all ain't putting that on me. Because if something would have happened to the guy, went into a coma or something, we would have been all over Tony. Because of the way he stopped the Rolly fight early with Barroso and then let somebody go into a coma. Well, it wouldn't have been his fault. The guy had an aneurysm, I guess. But I know I would have been all over Tony. So Tony said, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm stopping this. As soon as Virgil hit him a couple times and it came close again, Tony jumped in there and told what the deal was too. I don't know why they would do that, man. They had to know. Tony knew. Right? So, you know, Oscar and the sanction bodies and all those people do, the state boxing commission, all those people had to know. But they put him in there anyway. Fortunately, Tony ended it. But we're gonna get going in a couple of minutes. It's almost 2:30. 3:30. No, 2:30. What am I talking about? It's 2 to 4. Yeah. Next week we're gonna look at each division and talk about the youngest and oldest champions ever in each division. I don't know many of them yet, but I will know by next week. You know. Yeah, B-Hop is the oldest person ever to win the title, and of course he did it at light heavyweight. Big George is heavyweight. Oldest, Mike Tyson is youngest at 20. Yeah, Archie was you know, he had a kind of not controversy, but when he was born, he was saying 1916 for the longest time. Then his mother came out and told reporters it was 1913. Okay, so yeah. Mother knows best, right? Yeah, Mike Basic been in the building. Yeah, I gotta move this stuff far away because my finger was always hitting. BN Boxing News? What's up, BN Boxing News? Yes. You still in Paris? You mean Cast Sports is on the airwaves in Paris over there, man? Yes, I done made it. Somebody's listening. BN Boxing News is listening to me in Paris. Who knows? Somebody else could be listening from all over the place. But I know somebody listening to me in Paris. But salute BN Boxing News. Or are you back? I know he was in Paris doing the hangout. He can't get back that fast, right? It's at least, what, about 8 hours flying from over there. I've never been to France. I've been to London and where else have I been? Rome and New York. Those are 4 big cities: London, Rome, New York, and Paris. So I got to get to Paris to complete the list. The BN Boxing News been there. Salute BN Boxing News. Here's Jay Hardcore. I got to call Jay Hardcore when the show is. Yeah, these days just fly by so fast, and you get to doing stuff, man. And is it oldness or what? I don't know. I hear young people talking about how fast time is going by. That's Jay Hardcore, hashtag JBT, by the way. That's the founder of the JBT. Let's get ready to get this thing started. Let's get this thing started. I used to say that. One of those rascals. Was it Shawn Michaels? Yeah, let's get this thing started. Something like that. Let's take a quick look at that card tomorrow from Saudi Arabia. Right? Everybody okay this Friday afternoon? Weekend straight ahead of us. Anybody got a big one planned? I'm not doing too much. Got the JBT meeting tomorrow at 1. You know, all you JBT members, stop by sometime. Al Booker comes in there. Melanin Queen 27 comes in there with us. Yeah. That's too low. I can't even hear it. No, I can't do the show without the music. Oh, I thought I turned it off. On. That's too low. That's good. Okay, I got a little slide presentation for you too. The Mongoose. Started out as the Mongoose, ended up as the old Mongoose. He had over 200 fights too. Had like 130 something knockouts. Yeah. But tomorrow we got the main event is Deontay Wilder versus Zhilei Zhang now. You know, Wilder's 43-3 with 1 draw. Former WBC heavyweight champion. And, you know, of course, with Fury, he lost 2 of those fights and had a draw. 38 years old. The Bronx Bomber. And I'm kind of worried for the brother, man. This thing looking like itself. I'm leaning Zhang right now. Yep. Let's talk fashion. AKA Remo. Excuse me. Hashtag JBT. The season finale was Wednesday. Check it out. Another good one. From the JBT's fashion person. Yeah, he can talk that fashion. That's a good name. Let's talk fashion. He also has www.richthreads.com. That's RICHETHREADS.com. Okay. Remo. Let's talk fashion. A blend of fashion, sports, entertainment, in life. Okay. And then Zhang comes in at 26 wins, 2 losses. He also has a draw. And he's 2-2 in his last 4 fights. They call him Big Bang. He had the interim WBO strap, heavyweight top strap, until Joseph Parker took it from him in his last fight. Both these guys' last loss came to Joseph Parker, by the way. And Zhang has 21 wins by knockout. You know he's gonna be looking out for that right hand, Wilder. Yeah, Zhang said he lost to Parker. He said it was because of carelessness. But real quick, the rest of the card. The co-main is Dimitri Bivol versus Malik Zenard, light heavyweight. They both are 22-0. So wow, Zenard might come in and upset the apple cart. They're not gonna let that happen. Zenard better knock him out because he ain't getting no decision. They already told the judges Zenard doesn't get a decision because we got a big paper fight coming up with Bivol. So Zenard wants to win, he better knock him out. That's all I got to say about it. Oh, you out walking the dog, Jay? Okay. Yeah, and Bivol's WBA light heavyweight strap on the line. Okay, then we got Raymond Parker defending his belt against Nick Ball. That's featherweight. WBA featherweight title. Ford is undefeated coming in. And he's going up against Nick Ball, who's also undefeated, but he has 1 draw. And his draw was controversial against Ray Vargas. I thought Ball pulled it out. And that was for the WBC title, you know? Yeah, Parker retained it. Then we got Philip Hergovic against Daniel Dubois on there. That's heavyweight. And it says it may be for the vacant IBF title. What you mean maybe? It's Friday. You don't know yet? But Hergovic is undefeated, 17-0 coming in. Dubois is 20-2. And all that's tomorrow. Those are the main ones. We got Hamson Shiraz versus Austin Williams. Okay. Two more undefeated fighters. That's at middleweight. No belts at stake. Craig Richards versus Willie Hutchinson. Light heavyweight. No belts at stake. Okay. Hutchinson is 18-3. Richards is 17-1. And yeah, that's about it. Start time. I guess the main event will be about 6. They say the prelims start at 11 p.m. That's I don't know what that is over there in Saudi Arabia. Like I think they're ahead of us, probably at night. But let's start talking about the Mongoose. Archie Moore. Okay. How was everybody today? It's Friday. Beautiful weather outside. Got me a cooler sitting here. Friday night hangout tonight. Yep. BYOW. Bring your own whatever. Okay. Day Hardcore will be back in the hangout at 8 p.m. tonight for the Friday night hangout. That's always a wild one there. Don't miss it. The Boxing News tried to rob it one time. I don't know what might not happen in the hangout. Came in there with a mask on. I ain't lying. Yeah. Okay. The life and career of Archie Moore. The Mongoose / Old Mongoose. Okay. Anybody come in? Mike Rim in the building. What's up, Mike Rim? How are you, bro? Hope you're feeling better. Getting back to normal. They can't hold a good man down no way, though. You know. But salute, Mike Rim. Glad to see you back in here, bro. Mike's been back in the building. He was back in the building the next day. Appreciate the support. Now, Archie Moore, he was born Archibald Lee Wright, okay? I'll tell you about the Moore shortly. But December 13th, 1913. Now, for a while, Archie was saying 1916, but his mother cleared it up and said it was really 1913. Horry Franks in the building. What's up, Horry Franks? Hashtag JBT in the building. It's Friday. Maybe we get that 40 likes today. That's when I'm going to get it on a Friday. I want to be like Jay Hardcore and Just Do and the Mighty Rise podcast. Getting 70 and 80 likes a day. You know. But today, just give me 40. I'll be happy. Okay. Let's salute Horry Franks. Wow, we got 30 already. Just kidding. Okay, Archie Moore. Let me stop. Yeah, he was born in 1913, okay? And like I was saying before, he's the longest reigning light heavyweight champion of all time. He reigned from 1952 to 1962. 10-year reign for Archie. Okay? Longest reigning of all time. But he's not the oldest light heavyweight champion. It's B-Hop. When B-Hop became the oldest person to win a championship, it was at light heavyweight. Yeah. And like I said, next week we're going to have a show on that. We're going to look at the youngest and oldest champions from each division, all the way down. I don't even know half of them right now, but I will by next week. Okay. Now, like I said, Archie was nicknamed the Mongoose. And then later he became the old Mongoose in the latter half of his career, right? Now, he fought in a highly strategic and defensive boxing style. And as of December 2020, BoxRec had Moore ranked as the third greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. Not like heavyweight, that's just straight up all time. Had the Mongoose number 3. Now, me personally, I think that's a bit high for the Mongoose now, you know. Now, he ranked 14th on Ring Magazine's list of 100 greatest punchers of all time. And he was also a trainer for a while, you know. He trained, after his retirement, he trained Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Bob Foster. You know, Bob Foster, the one that ducked Jimmy the Cat Dupree, the profile we had Wednesday that Mike Masick gave me. That Bob Foster. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, he trained Ernie Shavers and James Quick Tillis. And he trained Foreman. He was Foreman's trainer in the Rumble in the Jungle against Ali and Zaire. He had Foreman for that fight, yeah, and others. Archie did. Now, Archie, he had a total of, Archie was 5'11". He had a reach of 75 inches, and he fought out of the orthodox stance. Now, he had a total of 220 fights, okay? He won 186. He lost 23. And he had 10 draws, and he had 1 no contest. And he won 132 fights by way of knockout. Yep, over 200 fights. Archie did. Busy man. That's how they fought back then, though. It wasn't nothing to see somebody fight 15 times in a year, you know? That was normal. But 220 is, they fought a lot back then, but just like Willie Pep last week, 200 and some is a lot for even that era, man. You know, you don't usually, that's not normal to be up over 200 like that, but yeah. Now, he's a native of Benoit, Mississippi, but he was raised in St. Louis, Missouri. And he grew up in poverty. And He was denied a shot at the World Championship for 15 years. Okay? That's how long it took him to get a title shot. 15 years. And imagine some guys coming in and get a title shot in that first fight. Took this man 15 years to get a title shot, man. But he made the best of it. He won it. We're going to talk about it. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT in the building. What's up, Lonnie Lee? Kind of early. Because I've seen Lonnie get in here like after 3 a couple of times. But he's on the regular time schedule today. Salute, Lonnie Lee. Hashtag JBT. Back at another weekend. The big fight from Saudi. Another big card from Saudi Arabia tomorrow. And the Mongoose today. Life is good, ain't it? Okay. Yeah, Archie, he didn't get a title shot for 15 years, man. That's a long time, ain't it? Wow. That's longer than some guys' whole entire careers. But he didn't give up. He stayed the course, got his title shot, and became champion. Yep, eventually. We're going to get to that, okay? And he spent the whole lot of those first 15 years just fighting with little to show for it. And he became an important figure in the American Black community, right? Once he retired, he became involved in many African American causes. Also did a little acting, television, and film. Yep. And he passed away in his adopted home, San Diego, California. He was 84 years old when he passed away, Archie Boy. Okay, let's talk about the Mongoose's early years. Okay? Talk about his early years. Come on, early years. Now, like I said, he was born Archibald Lee Wright. Okay? His father's name was Thomas Wright. Father was a farm laborer and a drifter because he left the family when Archie was a young age. His mother's name was Lorena Wright. And I was just telling you, Archie insisted that he was born in 1916 in Collinsville, Illinois. But his mother straightened it out. His mother told reporters Archie was actually born in 1913, 3 years older than he claimed he was. And he was actually born in Benoit, Mississippi. She had him. I guess she would know where she was at when she had him, right? So she said it was 1913 in Benoit, Mississippi. Okay? Now, his father abandoned the family when Archie was an infant. Okay? And his mother was unable to provide for Archie and his older sister, so she gave them into the care of his uncle and aunt, Cleveland and Willie Pearl Moore. And they lived in St. Louis, Missouri. And Archie just explained why he changed his name to Moore, because he said it was less questions to be called Moore. You know, you living with your aunt and uncle, their last name Moore and yours Wright. People are going to be wondering why. So he just changed his name to Moore. Less questions. Good, I agree. Good move, Archie. And he attended segregated schools, all black schools in St. Louis, including a place called Lincoln High School. But he never graduated, you know. And his uncle and aunt provided him with a pretty good, stable upbringing. But his uncle died, right, in a freak accident around 1928. That's when Archie began running with a street gang. And one of the first things he stole was a pair of oil lamps from his home where he was living at, right? And he sold them to have money to buy some boxing gloves. Okay? Still shouldn't have stolen it, Archie, you know. Should have asked for it. I mean, asked for the money, not asked for the lamp. I don't guess his aunt was going to give you her lamp, but you know. He stole the lamp to buy some boxing gloves. And Archie said, it was inevitable that I would be caught. I think I knew this even before I started. But somehow, the urge to have a few cents in my pocket made me overlook the eventuality of being caught. And eventually he was arrested. He was attempting to steal money, change from a motorman's box on a streetcar. And he was sentenced to 3 years at a reform school in Boonesville, Missouri. got out early for good behavior. He actually did 22 months altogether, not quite, a little less than 2 years altogether. But they let him go a little early, okay? And around 1933, Archie joined the Civilian Conservative Corps, working for the Forestry Division. And there was a camp in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And Archie was determined to become a boxer, right? He used to make his work sort of like a training camp, formal training, It was work, but he made the best of it. He made it like a kind of training because it was physical type work, right? And what he used to do, and the other kids used to kid him about this, they'd be going down a road like through a forest, right? You know how tree limbs be hanging over the road and stuff. And Archie used to stand straight up in the back of the truck, and he would wait till the last possible minute before he would duck out of the way from the tree branches. He could have got seriously hurt by that, man. One of them branches smack him upside his head and knock him out that truck. Could have broke his neck. Yeah, and his friends used to kid him about that. But that's one of the ways he used to work for training benefits. Okay, let's look at Archie's career now. Okay. Now, that camp he was working at, the captain permitted Archie to organize a boxing team from the guys at the camp, right? And this team competed in Golden Glove tournaments in Southern Missouri. And Southern Missouri and Illinois, right? And a lot of Archie's fights, around that time, I guess it was like 20s, could have been the early 30s by then. A lot of his fights were racially charged, in a racially charged atmospheres, right? And he described one fight against a white boxer. And the boxer's brother, the guy he was fighting, his brother was the referee, right? So Archie said, I knocked him down with a volley of head punches 1 minute into the first round. His brother, the referee, was furious at me, and he told me to keep my punches up. And Archie said, since I had been hitting him straight in the head, if I put my punches any higher, I would have missed them altogether. And he said, the referee said I had fouled him. He said he got mad, and he invited the referee. He offered to fight the referee too. So he said, okay, I'm not going to hit him anywhere but in the head after that. He said in the second round, he dropped him with a left hook. Looked like it made his head spin all the way around like a top. And I heard a man in the audience say, man, if I had 2 cents, I'd shoot that nigger. Yeah, that's the kind of atmosphere that he fought at early in his career. Okay. Now, in 1941, he had 4 fights, okay? And he won 2, lost 1, had a draw. Okay? And his draw was against Eddie Booker. You see, that's one of the Murderous Road fighters. Archie was one of the guys that would actually fight the Murderous Road guy. Okay, that's not Eddie Booker. That's Archie again. There's Eddie Booker right there. He fought 5. It was 8 Murderous Road fighters. Archie fought 5 of them. A lot of people wouldn't fight him back then. They would duck him. Even Sugar Ray Robinson, he ducked Charles Burley. The Murderous Road were 8 black fighters that were highly avoided back around 40s, around in that period. But Archie fought 5 of them. A few guys were willing to fight him. Archie was one of them. Gene Former, middleweight, because most of them fought in the middleweight division, okay? Archie was fighting at middleweight at that time. But he was one of the guys willing to fight those guys, okay? And that's who his draw was against. And Archie started suffering from severe stomach ulcers, right? And he had a few operations. And then he decided to retire from boxing because of it. But it was very brief. That was in 1941, his first retirement. By 1942, he was back in the ring. And he won his first 6 fights in 1942. including a second-round knockout of a guy named Hogue, and that was a rematch. And he won a 10-round decision over Jack Chase, another one of the Murderers Row guys. Okay, here's Jack Chase, right there. Another Murderers Row fighter. Like I said, Archie fought 5 of them. Okay. Then he met Eddie Booker in a rematch. They had a draw again. Yep. Must have been evenly matched guys. In 1943, Archie had 7 fights. He won 5 of the 7, lost 2, went 5-2. He won the California State middleweight title against Jack Chase again. That was a big deal back then, the California State middleweight title, yeah. Because all we had really was the NBA, National Boxing Association, and the New York State Athletic Commission. So the California State Championship, they had a Mexican State Championship. Those were kind of big deals back then. And Archie won the California, and then the California State middleweight title against Chase, and then he lost it, right? But he beat Chase again in his last fight of 1943. That was a 10-round decision. And then he fought another Murderers Row fighter, Aaron Wade. There's Aaron, right there. And Archie lost a decision, also lost a decision to Aaron Wade in 1943. Then he started fighting in the Atlantic Coast. Okay. Got some competitive fights in the Atlantic Coast. That was in 1944. He had 9 fights, and he went 7-2. And his last fight that year was his debut on the Atlantic Coast. Okay. And that's when the level of his opposition began to improve, right? He started fighting in the Atlantic Coast. He beat Jimmy Hayden by a knockout in 5 rounds, but he lost to future Hall of Famer Charles Burley. He's one of the few Murderers Row fighters that's actually in the Hall of Fame. That's not Charles Burley, though. Oh, shoot. I believe that's Aaron Wade. I never changed it from, yeah, I never changed it. That's Eddie. That's Archie. Stay with me for a second. That's Eddie Booker. That's Jack Chase. That's Aaron Wade. These are Murderers Row fighters. And that's Eddie Booker. I mean, Charlie Burley. He was considered the best of the Murderers Row fighters. He was the one that Sugar Ray Robinson ducked, this guy here. Kind of like a Boots type style, you know, could do it all in there, man, you know? Yeah. And he had to be good because, you know, they were ducked. He one of the few Murderers Row fighters who actually be in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Only 2 of them actually ever got a chance to win championships. And they had to fight each other a lot because nobody else wouldn't fight them, you know? Yeah. Archie and a few other guys, you could count them on like less than 5 guys were willing to fight these guys. Anyway, Charlie Burley. But we haven't got there yet. Anyway, he knocked out, yesterday, he lost to Charlie Burley in his last fight of 1944, okay? By decision. Now, in 1945, he won his first 8 fights that year, okay? And he impressed the Atlantic Coast boxing experts, and he earned the fight with light heavyweight Jimmy Bivens. Bivens was not considered and Archie was not considered a hard puncher, right? But he knocked Bivens out at that time, okay? There's Jimmy Bivens, okay? No, excuse me. He fought Jimmy Bivens. Jimmy Bivens was not considered a hard puncher, but he knocked Archie out by a knockout in the 6th round. This was in Cleveland. Then Archie fought 5 more times that year, right? Before it was over with. He met, among others, light heavyweight Holman Williams that year. Still in 1945. There's Holman right there. Okay. Fought him that year, Holman Williams. Lost a 10-round decision. Then he knocked Holman out in the rematch. And by 1946, Archie had moved up to light heavyweight, right? And at light heavyweight in 1946, he had 8 fights. He won 5, lost 2, had 1 draw. He beat contender Curtis Shepard, but he lost to Ezra Charles, future heavyweight. Ezra Charles wasn't the champion then. He was fighting at light heavyweight. Archie lost to him. Future Hall of Famer, Ezra Charles, by decision, 10 rounds. Then he had another draw with Jack Chase. He fought Chase about 3 or 4 times. And by that time, by 1946, Archie had started to complain about the world champions wouldn't fight him, right? In 1947 was mainly a year of rematches. Archie won 7 out of 8 fights. His 1 loss was to Ezra Charles, a rematch with Ezra Charles. Fought Jack Chase again, beat him by knockout, 9 rounds. Fought Curtis Shepard again by decision. And Bivens again by knockout. I told you, 47 was mainly a year full of knockout, full of rematches for Archie. Okay? Then, on June 2nd, 1948, Leonard Morrow knocked Archie out in the first round with the California light heavyweight championship on the line. And at that point, Archie's record was 92 wins, 14 losses, and 7 draws. The man had 113 fights. He had only been fighting like 6 or 7 years. Incredible. Right? Years later, when he was asked about that fight with Morrow when he got knocked out in the first round, Archie claimed he had accidentally fouled Morrow and reached out his hand to apologize, and that's when Morrow got him with the lockout punch, right? But Archie forgot that he had earlier told the newspapers what had really happened, you know? He was said before he said he got fouled, he told the newspapers, "I never dreamed this kid could hurt me. I thought I'd spar a bit and see what he had. He hit me hard. I got up and he swarmed all over me. Never was I so humiliated." But after that, he made up the story about being fouled, but he told the real story first. In 1948, he fought a total of 14 fights, okay? Losing again to Ezra Charles for the 3rd time, this time by knockout. In 9 rounds, he lost to Henry Hall by decision in 10, and to Lloyd Gibson by disqualification in 4 rounds. But he also beat Ted Lowry by decision in 10, and a Hall of Famer, okay? And he beat him by decision this time, Ted Lowry. He had 13 fights in 1949, winning 12 of them. Beat the Alabama Kid twice. Alabama Kid. Both times by knockout, 4 and 3 rounds. He beat Bob Satterfield by knockout. And future light heavyweight champion and International Boxing Hall of Famer, Harold Johnson. Archie beat him. That's Harold on the left. By decision. Bob Sykes by knockout, and Phil Moscato by decision. Lost a few fights. He fought another murderous road fighter that year. Burt Lydell, okay? No, he wasn't murderous road, excuse me. In 1951, Archie had 18 fights, winning 16 of them. Had a fight in Argentina that year. Went on an Argentinian tour. Had 7 fights over there. And he won 6 and had 1 draw. Yeah. And then he finally got his shot for the World Light Heavyweight Championship. Okay? Finally got his shot. Let me calm down a little bit. Hope everybody's enjoying the show. Okay, World Light Heavyweight Championship. 1952 was one of the most important years of Archie's life, okay? Heavyweight contender, after beating heavyweight contender Jimmy Slade, Bob Dunlap, and Clarence Henry, and light heavyweight Clinton Bacon, Archie was finally given an opportunity. He was 36 years old, okay? Actually, he was 39. It was not known at that time that he was really born in 1913. Everybody was still thinking he was born in 1916, and for the record, he was 36 when he won the light heavyweight championship for the originally, but actually he was 39 when he won it, okay? Because his mother confirmed he had been born in 1913, not 1916. So he was really 39 when he got his first title shot. He was going up against future International Boxing Hall of Famer, Joey Maxim. Okay. There's Joey right there. Joey Maxim. And Maxim, before that Archie Moore fight, Maxim had just beat Sugar Ray Robinson by a technical knockout in 14 rounds. That was the fight, remember I told you about it, that Sugar Ray had to stop because of the heat. Okay. He couldn't continue because of heat exhaustion. Only time he ever been stopped. Okay. Now, Moore consistently landed powerful right hands, hurting Maxim several times. And Archie won a 15-round decision. After 16 years, he had finally achieved his dream, light heavyweight champion of the world. And then the next year, he won all 9 of his fights, including a 10-round non-title win against then French heavyweight contender, Nino Valdez of Cuba. And he had a rematch with Maxim. Okay, got another 15-round decision against him. And he fought 2 more times in Argentina before the end of that year. Okay, that was 1953. Finally got his title shot, and he won it. In 1954, he only fought 4 times, but he held on to his title, and he had a 3rd fight with Maxim again. And the fight once again went the distance, and once again, Archie won the decision. He knocked Harold Johnson out again in the 14th round. And he fought a highly ranked heavyweight named Bob Baker. Okay. In 1955, he beat Valdez again. And at that point, when he beat Valdez, Valdez was the #1 heavyweight contender. Okay. And then Archie, he beat Bobo Austin. I got a Bobo in here too. Let me show you Bobo. There's Bobo. Archie beat him in 55. Okay. And Bobo was the world middleweight champion at that time and a future Hall of Famer. And Bobo was coming off a decision over Joey Maxim. Okay. Okay, bear with me. Let me get back up here where I was at. Bobo was out of place. It was where I was at, Joey Maxim, right there. Okay, now, Now, like I told you in the beginning, Archie received 2 cracks at the heavyweight championship of the world, right? On September 21st, 1955, he went up against Rocky Marciano. He did get a shot at Rocky, did he? Rocky and Archie. Now, September 21st, 1955, he faced Rocky Marciano at Yankee Stadium. Now, the fight was originally scheduled for September 20th, but it didn't happen until the following day. And it was in this fight that Archie came closest to winning the World Heavyweight Championship. A more surprise right hand in the second round sent Rocky Marciano down. Okay? That was only the second time in his career that Rocky had ever been knocked down. That was the second and last time he ever got knocked down. And that set the stage for a legendary battle between those two. And also created a little controversy. Okay? As far as the way Archie talked about it. And the referee had a different story about it. Okay? And Archie was upset at how the referee handled the knockdown. Okay? Archie described it in detail. Rocky rose at 2, right? And the referee continued a mandatory 8 count. And said he went on 3, 4, and said the mandatory 8 count did not apply in championship fights in 1955. So when Rocky got up, he just was supposed to take a look at him and let the fight continue. But Rocky got up and the referee kept counting. That's what Archie said, right? And he said seconds were screaming for him to finish him off. And Archie said he moved over there to do so, but the referee name was Harry Kessler. The referee wouldn't let him get back to Rocky. Said he carefully wiped off Rocky's gloves, gave him another few seconds. Then he said the referee gave Rocky a sort of stiff jerk, trying to help him clear his head, right? And Archie said he was very angry at what he saw as interference. And he said that made him a little bit reckless. And he started fighting angry, going for the knockout, toe to toe. And that's what he said got him knocked out by Rocky. He changed the way he was fighting at that point. But the referee told it a different way. Okay. Now, by the time of an interview with interview in 1970, Archie still hadn't cooled off any against that referee. But the referee didn't hold no ill will toward Archie. You know, he told a completely different story about it. You know, there's the referee. I could only get the backup. Harry Kessler. He was the referee that did that fight. And he talked about how Archie was a good fighter and all that type of thing, you know. Okay, bear with me for a minute. And the fight was on closed circuit. An examination of the original closed circuit broadcast shows no excesses in referee involvement. Marciano got up at 2. Then the referee continued counting to 4 in harmony with Archie's further 1960 description. And Marciano moved to the ropes, rested his elbow on the ropes. Archie was already moving toward him. The referee flashed on screen quickly, then away again, as though he had meant to separate the fighters. He is perpendicular to Marciano's chest, and his right hand waves rapidly near Rocky's left glove. Kessler reverses out as fast as he has come into the frame with no wiping of Marciano's glove like Archie claimed, and the action resumed. Okay? That's what the closed circuit showed. So it's kind of like Archie kind of made up most of the story he told about it. But in 1956, the next year, Archie fought mostly as a heavyweight that year. Okay? But he did still retain his light heavyweight title with a 10-round knockout over Yolanda Pompey. And this fight was in London. And then he went on to win 11 fights in a row before he challenged for the World Heavyweight Championship again. And the title was left vacant by Marciano. And Archie got his next shot at the light heavyweight title against Floyd Patterson. Okay. There's Archie and Floyd. But he lost to Floyd. Floyd knocked him out in 5 rounds. And Patterson, another future Hall of Famer. And Floyd made history that night. Remember, the title was vacant. Floyd became the youngest heavyweight champion at 21 years old. And that record stood until 1986, until some guy named Tyson broke it. 1986. Okay? In 1957, Archie won all 6 of his fights. Among those wins was an easy 10-round decision over heavyweight contender Hans Kopfel in Germany. A knockout over highly ranked Tony Anthony in 7 rounds. That was to retain his light heavyweight title. And a one-sided decision over light heavyweight contender Eddie Cotton in a non-title fight. And a 4th-round knockout of future top 10 heavyweight contender Roger Richter. Okay. In 1958, Archie had 10 fights. He won 9, no losses, 1 draw during that span. Had a fight with Yvonne Durrell. There they go right there, Archie and Yvonne Durrell. This fight was in particular, this was of note because defending his world light heavyweight title in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Archie was knocked down 3 times in the 1st round and again in the 5th round. But then he dropped Durrell in round 10 and won by knockout in the 11th round. So Archie went down 4 times in that fight, but he ended up winning that knockout in the 11th round. In 1959, that was his last year as uncontested champion. He only had 2 fights that year. He beat Sterling Davis by knockout in 3 rounds. Then he beat Durrell again, also by a knockout in the 3rd round, to once again retain his world light heavyweight title. Now in 1960, Archie was stripped of his world light heavyweight title by the National Boxing Association. But he continued to be recognized by most media boxing authorities, including the New York State Athletic Commission and the Ring magazine. He had 4 fights in 1960. He won 3 of them. One by decision against Buddy Turman in Dallas, and his only loss came on a 10-round decision against Giulio Rinaldi, and that was in Rome. 1961, he defeated Turman again by decision in Manila in the Philippines. And then he defended his light heavyweight championship for what would be the final time, beating Rinaldi again by a 15-round decision to retain the belt. And his last fight that year was in the heavyweight division against Pete Rademacher. Ventured up to heavyweight again. Okay? For a non-title fight, that's Archie and Pete Rademacher there. Okay? And Rademacher had made history because, now remember, it took Archie 15 years to get a heavyweight championship fight. Pete Rademacher, the guy Archie fought right there, he was the first ever professional boxer to get his first fight was a championship fight against Floyd Patterson. He lost it But it took Archie 15 years, and this man got a championship in his first fight. Wow, go figure. Crazy, ain't it? And Archie knocked him out in the 9th round. Probably was thinking about that. Like, God damn it, you motherfucker. Took me 15 years, and you got one in your first fight. Take this. In 1962, the remaining boxing commissioners that had continued to back Archie when the NBA stripped him for the World Light Heavyweight Championship, they withdrew their recognition. Okay? Because remember, I told you the fight before the heavyweight fight was his last fight as light heavyweight champion. So he doesn't have any kind of light heavyweight title at all now. Yeah. So Archie started campaigning exclusively as a heavyweight after that, you know. And he beat a few heavyweights. He beat Alejandro Lavarante, knocked him out in 10 rounds. Beat Howard King, knocked Howard out in the first round. That was in Tijuana. Then he went up against let me get that. There we go. Future heavyweight champion Willie Pastrana. This was a 10-round heavyweight fight. On the posters advertising the fight, Archie was billed as the world light heavyweight champion, but he really wasn't. And the fight took place in California. Well, I guess he was, because California hadn't withdrawn recognition from Archie yet. And so California still recognized him as light heavyweight champion, but the fight was at heavyweight. Okay. Now, by the time the fight occurred, California had withdrawn recognition. By then, they was recognizing Harold Johnson, but when they signed it and made the posters, they were still recognizing Archie as champion. So by the time they had the fight, Harold Johnson had earned. They was calling Harold Johnson the champion. Okay. Then in Archie's last fight of note, he was 49 years old now, right? And he faced that's the guy, Harold Johnson, that they gave his belt to. Archie had beat him years ago. Then in Archie's last fight of note, 49 years old, right? He faced that young heavyweight champion out of Louisville, Kentucky, named Cassius Clay. Okay. And before then, Archie had been Clay's trainer for a time. But Clay became dissatisfied and left Archie because Archie was trying to change his style. And Archie insisted that Clay do dishes and help clean gym floors. Cassius Clay said, Then he went to Angelo Dundee, right? And before the fight, Cassius Clay rhymed. He said, Archie Moore must fall in 4. And Moore replied that he had perfected a new punch for the fight. It was called the lip buttoner. Okay? But nonetheless, just like Cassius Clay predicted, he stopped Moore in the 4th round. He was still not a lot round that time. You know, he was hitting his predictions. Yeah. Okay. Then, after one more fight in 1963, which was a 3rd-round knockout win over Mike DiBiase in Phoenix, Arizona, Moore announced his official retirement from boxing. Okay? In 1963, when he officially retired for the 2nd and last time, because remember he retired in 1941 because of stomach ulcers, but he was right back in the ring in 1942, remember. So 1963, he retired officially. He had one more fight after he fought Muhammad Ali, who was Cassius Clay at the time, then he retired. Now post-retirement, Archie, I got a picture of old Archie. Yeah, post-retirement. Now, Archie couldn't escape the limelight once he retired, okay? And he received numerous rewards. In 1965, he was given the key to the city of San Diego, California. That was his adopted home, right? In 1970, he was named Man of the Year by Listen magazine. And he received the key to the city of Sandpoint, Idaho. 1985, he was elected to the St. Louis, Missouri, St. Louis City Boxing Hall of Fame. And he received the Rocky Marciano Memorial Award in the city of New York in 1988. Jimmy the Cat Dupree, the guy profile wins, he also received that reward. Very prestigious award back around that time. I don't even think they give it out anymore. But Archie received that in 1988. In 1990, Archie was elected to the International Boxing Hall of Fame in its inaugural year. You know, one of the original members of that institution. I told you about that old timers category, right? For all those guys that fought years ago and they retired, winning in the inaugural year, they call it the old timers category. Archie was a member of that. And at one point in his career, he was the oldest boxer to win the World Light Heavyweight Championship. And Archie is believed to have been the only boxer who boxed professionally in the eras of Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, and Muhammad Ali. You can't think of anybody else that boxed during the era of all three of those guys. Archie is the only one I can think of, too, that was boxing when Joe Louis came in the game during the Rocky era, and was still boxing when Muhammad Ali came in. I can't think of anybody else but Archie. Okay. And then you historians out there think of anybody else that boxed during that span? During Joe Louis's career, Rocky Marciano's career, and Muhammad Ali's career? Because Archie boxed like 28 years, you know. Finished up as the old mongoose, remember. Now, he is one of only a handful of boxers whose careers spanned 4 decades. You know, there's others that spanned 4 decades, but I just can't think of any that was during that time. You know, 4 decades during that period, right? I can't think of any but Archie. But he's one of a few whose career spanned 4 decades. And I told you, he had 220 total fights. He won 185. He lost 23. He had 11 draws and 1 no contest. He fights 108. Yeah, 220. 185 wins, 23 losses, 11 draws, and 1 no contest. Right. Archie, 220 fights. Now, however, at least 3 of Archie's 131 knockouts came in less than competitive fights against pro wrestlers. He fought wrestler Professor Roy Shire in 1956, Sterling Davis in 1959, and Mike DiBiase in 1963. Mike DiBiase was Moore's 131st and final knockout, a wrestler. I wonder if he's Ted DiBiase's father. Remember Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man? Remember, everybody's got a price. He used to come out the aisle, down the aisle to the wrestler, to the ring, had money in both hands, remember? He had that pretty woman come out there with him. He would boss her around and stuff. What if Mike DiBiase is his father? The H's would be, right? But all 3 fights are officially listed as 3rd round TKO stoppages against the wrestler. And that's the highest amount of knockouts in boxing history. The second amount is 128, which belongs to Sam Langford. Okay? Now, during the 1960s, Archie founded an organization called Any Boy Can, which taught boxing to underprivileged youth in the San Diego area. In 1974, he helped train heavyweight boxer George Foreman. I told you about this. He helped train Big George for this fight right here. Yeah. And he was in George's corner for that fight. Yeah, he helped train George for the famous Rumble in the Jungle title fight in Zaire against Muhammad Ali, when Muhammad Ali invented the famous rope-a-dope. Okay. Yeah, he trained George for that fight right there. In 1976, Archie served as an assistant coach for the Nigerian Olympic boxing team, actively involved in efforts to teach children about the dangers of drug abuse. He worked during the 1980s as a youth boxing instructor for the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development, assigned largely to ghettos in San Diego and Los Angeles. Archie said, I tried to pass on the arts I know: self-control, self-reliance, self-defense. Okay? He told reporters that in the early 1990s. No, he told reporters that. And then in the early 1990s, he worked as a trainer for George Foreman again. Okay? Yeah. So he trained Foreman around the time he fought Ali. And then Archie, when Foreman came back, Archie was training him again for part of that. And like I told you, he had an acting career also. In 1960, he played the role of the runaway slave Jim in a movie called The Adventures of Huckleberry. Well, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, I remember Archie in that role. Yeah, that was based on the Mark Twain novel. And he got positive reviews for his portrayal of Jim. And that was a much filmed role, and most people saying Archie played it the best. Mm-hmm. Now he did not choose to pursue a full-time role as an actor, but he did appear in films such as The Carpetbaggers, 1964, The Hanged Man, 1964. That was a Western. And The Fortune Cookie, 1966. And he played on some television shows, episodes, a few of them. Family Affair, Perry Mason, Wagon Train. I just watched Wagon Train a little while ago. The Reporter, Batman. And he was on the soap opera One Life to Live. Perry Mason was a crazy show because Perry would always get the person off that they had accused of and then turn around and point to the person that actually did it would be sitting in the courtroom. Now, if I done killed somebody and they got somebody else accused of doing it, I damn sure ain't gonna be at their trial. Perry would always turn around and say, he did it, him right there. The person sitting right up in the courtroom. Ain't that crazy? I'd be in another country. I done killed somebody and somebody else accused of it. I'm not gonna be at that trial, man. That's how Perry used to get him. Back to Archie. It was crazy. Perry Mason. That was wild, man. Okay, I want to get to some his personal life, because his daughter was a boxer also. Oh shoot, I went to the movie. I didn't mean to hit that. Yeah, but Perry Mason was a trip, man. You know, they just got somebody on trial and the killer sitting right up in the courtroom watching the trial. That's ridiculous, man. Okay, personal life. Well, he was a humanitarian too, you know. He was a civil rights activist. You know, he was active in civil rights around the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King and all of them was, you know, back around that time. Archie was involved in it. He was an activist. Yeah. And let's look at Archie's personal life right quick, okay? Well, we got plenty of time. Got like 30 minutes. Personal life. He had 3 daughters, Rena, J. Marie, and Elizabeth Moore, and 4 sons, Archie Jr., Hardy, Anthony, and D'Angelo. Now, the marriage of Archie Moore and Elizabeth Thornton produced Archie Jr. and Elizabeth. In 1956, he married Joan Harvey and had 5 children, Rena, J. Marie, Hardy, Anthony and D'Angelo. They were married until his death in 1998. And Archie joined the Seventh-day Adventist Church later in life. Now, J. Marie, that's Archie's daughter, J. Marie. Okay, in 1997, J. Marie Moore became the first daughter of a famous boxer to herself become a professional boxer. Before later Ali and Jackie Frazier lied, there was Archie Moore's daughter was the first one to do it, okay? To become a professional boxer. Daughter of a famous boxer, okay? And Archie Moore died of heart failure in 1998. He was cremated and is interred at Cypress View Mausoleum and Crematory in his adopted home of San Diego, California. Archie's legacy, real quick again. 1965, Archie was inducted by the San Diego Hall of Champions into the Bret Bard Hall of Fame. 1980, he was inducted into the World Boxing Hall of Fame. 1990, inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. That's the more prestigious one. In 2002, he was inducted into the St. Louis Walk of Fame. 2006, Archie was inducted into the California Boxing Hall of Fame. The Ring magazine ranked Archie number 4 on his best punchers of all time list in 2003 and number 14 on his list of the 80 best fighters of the last 80 years. Archie was ranked as the number 1 light heavyweight of all time by the International Boxing Research Organization in 2005. Archie was voted as the number 1 light heavyweight of the 20th century by the Associated Press in 1999. And finally, he is rated the number 6 pound-for-pound fighter of all time by BoxRec. That's kind of high. I always like to see what that Houston Hall of, it's the organization in Houston that's made up of all former and active boxers. I always like to see what they think about a fighter, but it didn't list what they said about Archie Moore because that's the big one there, former and active fighters, okay? That's one I always like to see. And the Cash Sports the Box historian ranked Archie Moore like about 25th all time. I'm serious, man. Not no 6. That's kind of high. You know, one organization had him 3, and BoxRec got him 6. I don't think so. But there you have it. Archie Moore, the Mongoose / Old Mongoose. Next week, it's going to be Jack Dempsey, the Manassas Mauler. Next Friday's profile. Jack Dempsey, the Manassas Mauler. Okay? And don't miss that. And remember, next week, we're going to talk about the youngest and oldest fighter in each weight class, all the way through from heavyweight all the way down to strawweight, 105. The youngest and oldest fighters in each category. Because you already know heavyweight. Mike Tyson is the youngest at 20, and Big George is the oldest, I think, is 45. Yeah. Melanin Queen 27 in the building. I'm sorry, Queen. I don't know how long I wasn't even paying attention to the and Bruce Gas said something. I've been missing everything. Let me go back up. Bruce Gas says going for a walk, be listening with the buzz. Okay, Bruce Gas. I appreciate the information Bruce Gas sent me too. But salute Melanin Queen 27. How are you today? Yeah. You know, Mike Tyson is the youngest at heavyweight at 20, and Archie Moore, George Foreman is the oldest at 45, something like that. And at light heavyweight is B-Hop. Remember, he became the oldest person to win a championship. That was done at light heavyweight. I think it's 47. I don't know the youngest at light heavyweight. I'll know it by Monday, though. Now, Evander Holyfield is tied with somebody for cruiserweight at 23, and there's some guy that's 36. That's the oldest at cruiserweight. But, I'll know them all by Monday. Okay. But winding down. It's Friday. We got the big fights tomorrow. I know we had the card from Saudi Arabia. There's usually always a card out of England, over there in the England or Ireland or Wales. Somewhere over there's always a card. And it's heating up, just like summer's heating up. We got we got 3 next week. We got Box Rec Wednesday, AB Friday, then the highest Patrick Zero Saturday. So it's heating up. We got the NBA playoffs going on. We got the NHL playoffs going on. We got baseball. July, we got football starting off. Just a great time to be a sports fan overall, man. And boxing, the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. We can't get enough of it. One-on-one. Okay. That's why I love it. You don't have nobody taking your place or anything. You get tired, bite down on that mouthpiece. Because ain't nobody coming off the bench to take your place. Nobody's coming. It's all on you. No, that's the only card listed on there tomorrow. Wow. Yeah. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Okay. Have they had the weigh-in yet? I have to watch it later. I want to see Wilder's demeanor and everything, because he's Wilder is not looking too right to me. Kind of like he went into the Parker fight, and look how he fought. So, I don't know. He got his 3 losses now, 2 to Fury and 1 to Parker. Yeah. Him and Zhang, both their last loss was to Parker, remember? Both of them. Yup, to the same man. I can't wait until Parker gets back in there. The one I'm excited about is that guy Karbayev, man. That big Russian Mark Magdov stopped that guy Saturday, and they was ranting and raving about it. They must not have seen what Karbayev did to his big ass over there in Saudi Arabia. Made him take a knee twice, and the second time he took a knee, he made him quit. And they was ranting and raving about Mark Magdov is this and Mark Magdov is that. They didn't see that last fight. I bet you won't get in there with Karbayev no time soon. Mark Magdov came out there snapping his neck and Karbayev got in there, man, and took the wind out of his sails. Made him take a knee. He was going to that body. Yeah. Mark Magdov just quit. Ajit Karbayev. And he did what he did to Frank Sanchez. They say Sanchez has something wrong with his knee or something, but you can't blame it on that. If you're injured, postpone it. Once you come down that aisle and get in that ring, you can't blame injury. Because you signed off on something and say you was able to fight. You got to do that. They give you a form. Are you okay, able to fight? Once you sign that form, you cannot blame injury. Okay? So Karbayev just, he stopped him, remember? He stopped Frank Sanchez. 2 impressive wins. Mark Magdov and Sanchez. Might be a meeting between Karbayev and Joe Parker. The ex-Joe Parker on that last card in Saudi Arabia, the Fury Usyk card, said Karbayev comes forward and pushes you back. What would you do against him? Parker said, I'll push him right back. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. I would have Karbayev in that fight, though. Yeah. I would like to see Karbayev and Joshua fight against each other. They have never fought yet. I would like to see that fight. What happened to Big Baby? I don't think the new Big Baby, Jared Anderson, I don't think he can beat any of those guys, man. He's overrated. It ain't about time for him to get in there and get somebody. Remember the last guy he fought? Was it a month or so ago? The guy didn't even want to fight. When is Big Baby going to step up? Maybe he was telling the truth, or he don't like boxing. He's just trying to get paid. Because he sure ain't fighting nobody. All this talk about it, ain't it time for him to step up and lose? He loses to all those guys. Parker, Carvalho, Sanchez, Mark Madar. All of them beat Jared Anderson. Every last one of them. Carvalho will stop him. Jared Anderson is overrated. He ain't fighting nobody. Come on, man. Get in the ring. Talking about he don't like boxing. He just gonna do it for 3 years. That's crazy. And all them bums, well, I don't want to call them bums, but all them lower level fighters he's fighting, he's showing it. But he's not making no money. He's making money, but not what he could potentially get, you know? If he got on in there against some of the bigger names, it's time. He has, what, about 18 fights or something? It's time. Come on, Jared. Get in there and fight somebody. And get stopped. Because that's what's going to happen to him. He's going to be one of those guys that they built up, and then all of a sudden, once he step up, it's going to be the end of it. His 3 years come around, he can get on out because he ain't going to be doing nothing. I think the guy is overrated. You can dance around and play and do all that stuff against sea level, but when you get in there against somebody like Carvalho or Joe Parker or somebody, the truth comes out then. And it will. Yeah. Then he used to spar Fury. What does that mean? Who is Fury? Fury just got beat by a blown up middleweight. Those are his words, not mine. His words. Just like Devin said, Ryan was sea level. He got beat by that sea level guy. Those are his words. Oh yeah. My rant from the hangout this morning. Yeah, man, some of those Haney fans make me sick, man, with that nonsense. You know, the go-to line is Devin made the contract weight. Ryan didn't make it. But they still don't make it right. They made weight when they made the 140 division, they didn't make it for a guy to come in and fight at 165. You know. It might be within the rules, but it's still not right. If a little old lady walking down the street in front of you and drop her rent money on the ground, are you going to pick it up and give it to her, or are you going to pick it up and put it in your pocket? Those people that's saying Devin made the contract weight, is okay to fight at 165, they're the ones that would pick it up and put it in their pocket. You know? You didn't rob her, but it still ain't right keeping her rent money that she dropped accidentally, is it? So Devin might be within the rules. He made 140, but blew up to 165 the next day. Still ain't right. You follow me? It still ain't right. It's underhanded stuff. Underhanded shit. That's what it is. It's underhanded. And if you're good with it, like I said this morning, you're a fanboy. Plain and simple. You shouldn't be good with it. Why do they make weight divisions? I mean, you're not going to be the exact weight, but if you're going to fight at 165, you should at least be in the 154-pound division, at least 154, not 140. Come on, man. No. That is underhanded. You know? And there's no defense for it. Just fanboy. That can't be defended. It's underhanded. And the people that defended it is the same ones that would pick up the little old lady's money she dropped and didn't know it and put it in their pocket. You didn't rob her, but it still ain't right what you did. So Devin may be within the rules, but it still ain't right to blow up 25 pounds. Okay? It's underhanded. Cheating, that's what it is. And I don't got nothing against Devin, but I got something against anybody that does that. Anybody. Because it's not right. Why heavyweight division? Just put two people in there. You know? If you're going to allow that kind of nonsense to happen. Why heavyweight divisions then? I guess they made them for a reason. So some guy wouldn't be 165 fighting at 140, right? So how can somebody sit there and defend that nonsense? It's not right. Nope. It'll never be right. And not just Devin, anybody that does it. Fighting 25 pounds over the weight division. Move your big ass up. That's why they made it. When you outgrow one weight division, that's why they made another one a few pounds higher. So you have somewhere to go to and fight. Not squeeze down into this one and then gain 25 pounds by the fight the next night. And fight 2 weight divisions up. That ain't why they made weight divisions. They made them so you would have another weight division to go to when you outgrew the other one, you know? But you got these weight bullies starving themselves, making the contracted weight. That's their go-to line. He made the contracted weight. That's bullshit, man. That's the go-to line. Ryan was 3 pounds over. Devin made the contracted weight so he can weigh 125 pounds over the weight limit the next day. Fanboy shit, man. Stop defending that, man. You're not a fan of boxing. You're a fan of a fighter. And it's terrible for the sport. Okay? Just terrible. It is. Tank is my favorite fighter, but I wouldn't support nothing like that. If he came in at 135, what's 25 pounds? 160. If he was fighting at 135 at 160, I would criticize it. No matter who it is. Come on, man. You're gonna gain some weight, but 25 pounds, that's cheating. That is an unfair advantage that wasn't planned for it to be that way. Okay. Obviously, by them making weight divisions, they didn't plan for somebody to be 165 fighting at 140. But they wouldn't have made weight divisions. They would have just left it. Anybody can fight anybody, no matter the weight, right? So if it's going against what was planned, it's wrong. It's wrong. So anybody defending it is just defending a fighter. They're not thinking about the sport. Because if you're thinking about the sport, you would admit that that's wrong. For any fighter to fight that far out of the division that they're campaigning in. If you were a fan of boxing, you would admit that was wrong. You wouldn't be defending it. Not unless you're a fan of a fighter. Because if another fighter did it against your boy, you would be all over against it. Look at Ryan Garcia, 3 pounds over the limit, but you used the excuse the contract weight, he was wrong. Now that was Ryan weighing 165, you'd be crying like a little baby. But since it's Devin, it's okay. Get out of here, man. Let me stop. It's just wrong. And a lot of people think they're hardcores, but they're really casuals. You know, casuals. They are really casuals. I ain't gonna say no names, but I got some in mind. They are really casuals. They're not hardcore fans. Hardcore fans don't think like that. Hardcore fans are fans of boxing, not fighters. And any fighter coming in 25 pounds over the weight limit, a hardcore fan gonna criticize it, gonna admit that it's wrong. You're not gonna defend nobody doing that type of nonsense. A hardcore fan ain't gonna defend the nonsense Canelo is doing. Those are casual fanboys, okay? Hardcore fans don't defend that type of nonsense. I'm sorry, they just don't. Nope. They just don't. The contracted weight. So he can weigh a 165. You would pick up that old lady's rent money off the ground and stuff it in your pocket. If she didn't see her, if she didn't know she dropped it, because you didn't rob her. So it's okay for me to take it. I don't have to call her and tell her she dropped her money. Devin Haney didn't break the rules at the contracted weight so he can go to 165. Then the same ones would take the little old lady's rent money and put it in her pocket. I didn't rob her. She dropped it. That's her fault. I ain't do nothing wrong. Devin ain't do nothing wrong. He was at 140 Friday. on, man. Be fans of the sport we love. Stop being a fanboy. You know, not all Devin Haney fans are bad, but there's a lot of them that are terrible. And after the Ryan lost, a lot of them had dug holes and pulled the dirt over themselves. But as soon as that test came back, they came out of hiding. I said, there y'all, where y'all been for the last few weeks? It was crazy, man. It was crazy. But it's Friday. I'm getting ready to get out of here. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And that's just wrong. You know? But I hope everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the fight tomorrow. I'm worried for Deontay. I think Zhang, I don't know. Deontay got to get him late. I think Zhang might stop him. And also, I'm picking Nick Ball. I'll be in the Crow Show Sunday. I hope Wilder wins. But he just ain't looking right, man. I guess they've had the weigh-in. I'm getting ready to look at it in a few. We got the boys coming up in a few minutes. Just do boxing. In about 5 minutes. He'll be doing his thing. And shoot, I was easy on Devin Haney fans. Y'all should have heard Just Do Boxing about 3 weeks, a month ago. I went easy. He went hard on him. I was feeling sorry for him. You know? But anyway, Melanin Queen 27, Lonnie Lee #JBT, Ori Faints, Mike Rim, Let's Talk Fashion, aka Remo, #JBT, J Hardcore #JBT, BN Boxing News, Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey, Bruce Gas Boxing, Jazz, and more. Just Do Boxing, The Voice, Mike Magic, Al Booger, MS Cass, #JBT. Appreciate everybody. We're rocking with my scoring channel. We're going to get there. Rome wasn't built in a day, you know. I mean, I could get people real fast if I just start talking about who's beefing on Twitter and all that kind of stuff, but I can't do it. This is an informative channel, okay? So I'll just inform the few people that's here, that's all, you know. Got some people that just want to be seen. If I get like 40 or 50 people, they'll show up. But everybody have a great weekend. Got a big week planned for you next week, as usual. And I will see you then. Cass Sports.